Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. I welcome you all to another new session of your English online class. So, in the last session, we stopped with a little girl. Okay, we are going to continue through the lesson in this session. Okay, children, before going into the lesson, let us have a quick recap. Okay, we will just understand what we saw. So, there was a little girl. I hope you remember her name. What is her name, children? Yeah, her name is Kezia. Okay, this girl was afraid of her father. She was so terrified of her father. And one day her grandmother advises the child to give him a gift on his birthday. And so this girl sits in, puts her efforts to make a pin cushion. To stuff the pin cushion, she didn't know what to fill it with. So what she did, she went inside searching the house for papers or something to fill in. She bought some papers from the mother's bedroom. She tore it into pieces and stuffed the pillow. Now the pin cushion is ready. But there was a huge cry in the house because the father's speech for the Port Authority is missing. So this girl, by mistake, she had taken those papers, torn it into pieces and stuffed her pillow. So she is getting punished by her father for her mistake. And the father says that only if she is punished, she won't repeat the mistake. So that is where we left in the last class, children. Shall we continue and go through the lesson? Yes. Hours later, when grandmother had wrapped her in a shawl and rocked her in the rocking chair, the child clung to her soft body. What did God make fathers for? She sobbed. So this little girl, she was crying in the room, and the grandmother comes in to comfort the child. She wraps the child in a shawl, okay, and she puts her close to her bosom. Okay, the child is also clinging. Okay, she is holding the grandmother's body tightly. Okay, children, she rocked means she sat in a reclining chair. Okay, and she puts the baby on her chest and she is rocking the girl. The child clung. Clung means held close. Okay. To her soft body. So the grandmother's body, she is going and holding and hugging her tightly to take comfort. What did God make fathers for? So she sobbed. Sobbed means cried. So she cried, asking the grandmother, what for God made fathers? Are fathers meant to make us cry? Isn't their duty to make us and keep us happy? Why even our father is making me cry? That is what the problem was, the child. Here is a clean hanky, darling. Blow your nose. Go to sleep, pet. You will forget all about it in the morning. I tried to explain to father, but he was too upset to listen tonight. So this grandmother, okay, she is comforting the child, okay, she is consoling, she is saying the child that it is not the father's fault, might be he is bugged up with his work and that is the reason he is angry today. Okay, let us speak about it, let us solve it later. Now you go and sleep. So she is consoling the child, putting the child in a comfort place, she is making the child at ease and asking her to go to sleep. But the child never forgot. Next time she saw him, she quickly put both her hands back behind her back and a red color flew into her cheeks. So she never forgot. She is a little child, a little hearted person, yes or no, children? Whenever she saw the father next time, she was terrified. Okay, she immediately put her hands back because she didn't want the father to strike her once again. Okay, and the cheeks became pink, which means she is frightened. She is afraid of her father. I hope you understood. Yes, children, shall we go to the next paragraph? The McDonalds lived in the next door. They had 5 children. Looking through the gap in the fence, the little girl saw them playing tag in the evening. The father with the baby Mao on his shoulders two little girls hanging onto his coat pockets ran round and round the flower beds, shaking with laughter. Once she saw the boys turn the hose on him, and he tried to catch them laughing all the time. So here comes the neighbor. We are introduced to the neighbor of Kezia, the McDonalds. McDonalds means the family of McDonald is called as a McDonalds. Okay, in general reference, McDonalds means the family of McDonald. Okay, they lived next door and he had 5 children. Okay, not 1, not 2, he had 5 children. Now look at the amount of patience that the father should have. Okay, Kezia is the only child to the father. As far as we have understood the story, she is the only child to the father, and the father doesn't have the patience even to check on one girl. But this McDonald's had 5 children. Okay, looking through the gap in the fence. So there might be a fence separating the house. Yes or no, children? Fence is this which separates the house. Okay, there is a fence, and what this girl is doing, she is looking through the gap. Okay, in the hole, she is looking through the neighborhood, and she saw them playing tag. Okay, they were catching and they playing tag in the evening. So the father used to spend time with the children in the evening, and he played with the children. The father with the baby Mao on his shoulders. So the father, what he did, the McDonald, what he did, he put the baby Mao on his shoulders, and the 2 little girls hanging on his coat pockets. So 2 were hanging to his coat pockets and 1 was sitting on top of his shoulders, and ran round and round the flower beds. So with all these things, he was running round the flower beds, shaking with laughter. Only the sound of laughter was heard through the house. Okay, she was earning to have a family like that. So she was looking through the gap and she was admiring the family of McDonald's. Once she saw the boys turn the hose on him, and he tried to catch them laughing all the time. So once what happened, while she was looking as usual, she saw the boys had turned the hose, the water pipe on him. Now she is just reminded of her father. What would have happened if she had turned the hose on her father? No, the thought of it itself was terrifying the child, but on the contrary, McDonald's was enjoying. He was laughing with the children, he was catching the children. Okay? Then she decided that there were different sorts of father. Only then she understood that there are different varieties of father. One would enjoy the mistakes of the children, the other would punish them for their mistakes. Here we can see 2 families. Okay, the one who is having a fun time, the other one who is in solitude. Okay, children. The next paragraph. Suddenly one day mother became ill, and she and grandmother went to hospital. The little girl was left alone in the house with Alice, the cook. That was all right in the daytime, but while Alice was putting her to bed, she grew suddenly afraid. What will I do if I have a nightmare? She asked. So one day, it's another day, okay, the mother is not well. So mother is accompanied by the grandmother to the hospital, and now nobody is there at the house. Okay, only Alice. We are introduced to Alice. We understand that Alice is the cook. Okay, so she is left with Alice at the house, while mother and the grandmother are at the hospital. Okay, so she felt that was all right in the daytime. So she was okay, comfortable with the situation in the daytime, but in the night time, okay, she was not able to bear it. Okay, she was afraid suddenly. She grew anxious. Why? Because there was something which was troubling the little child. Okay, she was bothered about the nightmare. A nightmare is a scary dream. So she is worried. She is asking, okay, it is all fine in the daytime. If I have nightmares, if I am getting a scary dream at night, what would I do? Because grandmother is not there to put me to sleep back. So what would I do? This was making the child go anxious. I often have nightmares, and then granny takes me into her bed. I can't stay in the dark. It all gets it all gets whispery. You just go to sleep, child, said Alice, pulling off her socks, and don't you scream and wake your poor pa. So she is explaining this, Alice, okay, I want my grandmother or somebody to accompany me during the night because I cannot stand a nightmare. Okay, I will be afraid. Only if grandmother is there, she will comfort me, she will put me back to sleep. Now you are also leaving me, then how would I sleep? She was worried and she says that everything gets whispery. Whispery means what? Everything goes silent during the night. Okay, night and there won't be anything, it goes suddenly silent, the atmosphere itself will be quiet, and she was worried about that. Okay, but Alice, she just ignores all the complaints of the little girl. She says, you have to sleep, and make sure, she is also warning the little child, don't scream because that will disturb your father and he will wake up out of his bed. Okay. But the same old nightmare came. The butcher with a knife and a rope, who came nearer and nearer, smiling that dreadful smile, while she could not move, could only stand still, crying out, Grandma, Grandma. She woke up shivering to see father beside her, a candle in his hand. What's the matter? He said. So now she was worried and she was going to sleep. She was having the same thought. Okay, with the same thought she went to bed and again the same dream came. So what was the dream? Here, the butcher. All of us know who is the butcher, one who handles the meat, okay, who cuts the meat, okay, with a knife and a rope. So butcher would have a very big knife, okay, he is having a knife and a rope and he is coming nearer and nearer to the girl and smiling that dreadful smile. Dreadful is scary, frightening. So he was showing his scary smile and he was nearing to the girl. This girl didn't know what to do. She stood up out of the bed, she didn't move, she stood still without moving and she started crying, Grandmother. Okay, suddenly she woke up out of her sleep and beside her was her father. Okay, the father had come to her room because she had shouted. Okay, he came with a candle in his hand and now he has come to check on what's bothering the child. So he is asking, what is the matter? He said, oh, a butcher, a knife, I want Granny. He blew out the candle, went out and caught up the child in his arms, carrying her along the passage to the big bedroom. So he is asking, what is the matter? What made you shout? So this girl is telling, no, I had a butcher in my dream and he was coming closer and closer. So the father understood that the child cannot be put to sleep back alone. So what he does? He takes up the little child and he puts her across his arms and he carries the little child to his bedroom. A newspaper was on the bed. He put away the paper, carefully tucked up the child. He lay down beside her. Half asleep still, with a butcher's smile all about her, it seemed she crept close to him, snuggled her head under his arm, held tightly to his shirt. So the father carried the little child to his bedroom. There was a newspaper on the bed. So he put the newspaper aside, made room for the child and he puts the child on his bed and he lay beside her. Beside her means what? Right next to the little child. So this girl, still having the thoughts of the nightmare, she didn't sleep, she was still afraid. So now what she does, she goes close to her father, she goes and snuggles. Snuggled means went and hid or went close. Okay, went close to her father and put her head under his arm and she held his shirt tightly. Okay, she goes closer to the father and she hugs him and she sleeps. Then the dark did not matter. She lay still. Here, rub your feet against my legs and get them warm, said father. Tired out, he slept before the little girl. A funny feeling came over her. Poor father, not so big after all, and with no one to look after him. So she went closer and she lies down. Now she is comfortable, and what the father is telling, child, if you are feeling cold, you rub your feet against my feet so that you will get warm. And he sleeps. He goes to sleep before the little girl. Only then this little girl understands that the father might be too tired. Okay, he is bugged up, or he is filled with his own works and responsibilities, and that was the reason he couldn't take care of the girl. And she understood that he had no time to spare for the little girl. So she understood he is a poor father. Pity. Poor father means what? She pities the father. Okay. So she thinks, okay, father is also tired. Okay, he is also a human being. Though he might be big, he also needs somebody to take care of him, while there is nobody to look after him. So he has to look after himself. So she understands the pressure of the father. He was harder than grandmother, but it was a nice hardness. And every day he had to work and was too tired to be Mr. McDonald. She had torn up all his beautiful writing. She stirred suddenly and sighed. What's the matter? Asked the father. Another dream? Oh, said the little girl. My head's on your heart. I can hear it going. What a big heart you have got, father dear. So now when she came closer, she was just pondering all these things in her mind, and she was able to feel the hardness of the father. Now, so all these days she would sleep with her grandmother, would have a soft squishy body. Now this father, he is a hard person, not a hard person, his physique is hard to the little girl, and she says that, and every day he had to work and he must be tired. He is not Mr. McDonald, okay, he does not have time like McDonald, and that is the reason he has not been spending time with me. And she stirred, which means what? She switched positions, okay, she turned that side and sighed, okay, she understood. Sighed means what? A breath of relief is called as breath of relief, okay, is called as a sigh. Okay, she sighed, understanding the father. So now the father is now asking, something might be disturbing the child, that is why she is switching. So the father asks what is the matter. So now she is telling her father, there is nothing, but when I lie down close to you, I put my ear to your heart on your chest, and now I am able to hear your heart going. Heart going means what? The rhythmic sound produced by the heart, and she says, what a big heart you have got. Now this big heart is what heart? Not the physical size of the heart. He does not have a very big heart, not that heart. She says that he has a heart too that is filled with tenderness, okay, that is filled with love for the child, and now she has understood that the father is also having a heart and care for the child. Father dear. So she closes with father dear, wherein we can understand now she has taken up her father and she has understood the father. I hope you enjoyed the lesson, children, and you enjoyed it too and you understood it too. Meet you all in the next session. Bye bye, children.